And it's us one more time for another episode of
The Horror Guys. Yay!
Yay!
I'm Kevin,
I'm Brian.
and we're going to talk about Easter today.
Got any carrots? It's bunny week.
It's Bunny Rabbit Week. Because why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we're recording this in Horror Guys Studios on Super Duper Saturday.
Super duper Saturday?
Yeah.
Better than Good Friday?
Yesterday was Good Friday. There's always Super Duper Saturday in between. There's Good Friday and Super Duper Saturday and then Easter Sunday.
That's how that works.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So that's when we're recording this. And so in preparation for the big holiday, we watched some bunny-themed horror movies.
Yeah, well, anyway, we're going to take a look at the brand new, just released Easter Bloody Easter, which was something.
Which was everything we dreamed it would be.
Then we'll watch some more Rabbit Terror with the cute little buggers and Beaster Day. Here Comes Peter Cottonhell from the 2010s. And lastly, we'll watch a very old one, 1972's Night of the Lepus. Anyone got a carrot?
You better. Actually, these bunnies don't eat carrots anymore. They eat meat.
Yeah. And on the Weekend Horror Bulletin newsletter, we threw in a couple of extra bonus movies that really have nothing to do with Easter. We watched The Leopard Man from 1943.
See, the leopards probably would eat bunnies if they had the chance. So there's the connection.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure about Forbidden Planet, how you connect bunnies there. Maybe they had some bunnies that they brought along thinking that, they're going to terraform this planet, and they've got a whole stock of, farm animals, and they've got bunnies on the spaceship. There.
Okay.
See,
All right.
I tied them all together.
Yeah, see, I was thinking Leopard Man meets Cougar Woman would be an interesting film. But
Okay.
probably not the kind we'd review on this show.
And our short film, Velma, I bet she has some pet bunnies. She seems like the type that would be a very bunny-loving woman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it all ties together.
And the other bonus film this week is Forbidden Planet, 1956.
Where they're going to terraform Altair 4 and bring in bunnies along with them.
No bunnies. That monster in that movie, though, is kind of Bugs Bunny-like.
Oh, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have also, there's books out there. Go to horrorguysshop.com and pick up the Horror Guys Guide to all the different various things. Universal Films, Hammer Films, Amicus Films, all the films of Vincent Price and Boris Karloff and all them guys. All them old dead guys.
About the men. Not so much an emphasis on the movies.
Well, at Horror Guys Shop,
yes.
You've got the Horror Guys Guides, which are all about the movies. But for the past month or so, we've been doing something new. Over at our other site, hourlongpress.com, you can pick up the biographies of all these guys. Each week, we've got a new book coming out. We've already done Vincent Price, Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney Jr.
That other guy. It's all right.
Oh my goodness, who's the other guy?
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Peter Cushing, yes. And this week, you can pick up Boris Karloff, the biography.
Neato.
If we're recording this on Saturday, if you get it before Tuesday on Amazon, it is free.
What a deal.
It is. It's a good deal. Go over to hourlongpress.com. There's a link in the show notes. And just click on the link to go over to Amazon and download that one for free. And while you're there, sign up for the Hourlong Press newsletter and get notified every week about Free Book Friday, because who doesn't like free books?
And I was going to make a public service announcement, too. Don't be turned off because they're free in Kindle. Don't be turned off if you don't have a Kindle device. There's a Kindle app that you can download on almost any tablet device, computer, and you can read things in the Kindle app. You don't have to have an actual Kindle device.
Yeah, I read more on my iPad than I
that.
ever did on my Kindle.
And I realized that a lot of people don't realize that.
And you can read iPad or Kindle books right on your computer screen. There's a Kindle app for, Mac and PC. And
your iPad, your smartphone,
Yeah. Don't be afraid of Amazon because you don't have one of those Kindle devices. Those are really, really nice
Kindle
Kindle
devices, but you don't have to have the device.
Yeah, you can read them on almost anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, Boris Karloff, the biography, is absolutely free until Tuesday. go over and pick it up and sign up for the notification list so you can get next week's book, which is going to be another of the old icons of horror. Got at least 2 more of those coming.
Cool. Maybe
more if I can think of who else to do. We're running out of icons of horror, at least the classic ones. All right, so anyway, we've got movies this week. What are we going to start with?
Let's start with Easter Bloody Easter from
the
2024.
New one, yes.
And we're not going to spoil the heck out of this one because it's so new.
Yeah, directed by Diane Foster, written by Alison Lobel, stars Diane Foster, Kelly Grant, Alison Lobel, and Zuri Starks. Hour and 44 minutes.
And there's a trailer on the show notes, a trailer on YouTube that you should at least check out the trailer.
And if you are a very religious person from the Deep South, you probably were in this movie. Spoiler free, what happens?
Well, this is mayhem for the holiday as townspeople battle the giant, monstrous Easter jackalope and his swarm of killer bunnies, which is about as silly as it sounds.
You definitely want to see the trailer on this one.
Yeah. It seems low budget, but it's very well made. It's fun and gory, and we liked it a lot.
Yeah, we saw the trailer and figured it looked like, really cheaply made, and there's some pretty good laughs in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And then we watched it, and I'm going to say right now it's my favorite of the week.
I think so, too.
Yeah, it was way better than expected.
They don't take it seriously.
No.
And it's well made, and the gore is top-notch, and liked it. Liked it a lot.
Well, we start off with 2 trashy teens have some raunchy sex in the church storeroom. Because, that's where you do that.
Mm-hmm.
They hear something roar, but then they see a cute little bunny with red eyes and fangs. Credits roll over their mutilated bodies.
That escalated quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
Jeannie, despondent about Lance's disappearance, answers the door. It's Carol. They don't want to go to Janet's funeral. There have been a lot of weird deaths recently. But at the funeral, church lady Mary Lou talks about it being Good Friday, the week of Easterpalooza, some sort of local celebration.
They take Easter seriously in this town.
At the Good Friday picnic, all the churchy people show up. They're all very Southern, very low class, and more than a little trashy themselves. The writers clearly have been to the South and amplified all the stereotypes. We meet Eugene, and he's just plain weird. Jeannie gets called away when the police find Lance's truck, with blood on it.
Uh-oh.
The sheriff doesn't like Lance much, so he's not much help. He thinks maybe it was a bear attack, but he really doesn't care.
Yeah.
Sam tells Jeannie and Carol that Lance's disappearance is supernatural, and he leads them to giant animal footprints. It's the great horned rabbit, the jackalope. It attacked the town 150 years ago, and now it's back.
And Sam is a conspiracy theorist. He's actually wearing a tinfoil hat.
Yes, he is, yes.
He's a bit loony. And yet, there might be a grain of truth to what he's talking about.
He could be right.
Yeah.
He thinks the jackalope attacked Lance. Jackalopes are shapeshifters, like a werewolf. But it's backwards, though. If you bite the jackalope, you'll become one. Okay.
Yeah.
They hear it roar, and then they see a little rabbit with red eyes and fangs. But Jeannie stabs it. All right, well, the only building in town is from 150 years ago is the church, so they go check it out. They search the storeroom where the 2 teens were killed, and they read a story about a woman who sold her soul to Satan, and then they find a dead rabbit. I'm going to stop there.
Yeah.
You get the idea.
You get to meet more of the weird townspeople, and they have weird adventures and misadventures, and boy, it's good.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Okay, so there are some pretty good gore effects here. It does all look really low budget, but the acting, cinematography, sound, and everything else is really very well done. The characters are stereotypes and Southern caricatures, but they're all good. They're very good at what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
The acting is... it's appropriate for the tone of the movie.
Yeah, it is.
Some of them are very good. Some of them are just awful, but yeah, it's good. It's right. And the little rabbits are just silly enough to be fun, and the big one is just ridiculous. This movie is really something.
Yeah, it is.
Again, I think with both of us, this is our favorite for the week.
Yep, I think so too. Yep.
All right, what's next?
Oh, let's talk about Cute Little Buggers.
The Cute Little Buggers.
From 2017.
Directed by Tony Jopia, written by Gary Charles, Andy Davey, Christopher Dane, and Tony Jopia. Stars Carolyn Monroe, the big star who's in it for like 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Danny Thompson, Gary Martin, and Honey Holmes. Honey Holmes?
Honey Holmes.
That's not a
totally not a stage name.
No. Hour and 48 minutes. Trailer in the show notes. Spoiler free. This one has a touch of science fiction with aliens being the real source of the trouble. The cute little buggers are ugly big trouble, and the aliens and monsters and how people deal with them were a lot of fun. The weakness of the movie came from some serious relationship issues that they mixed in with the madness. It's like they were trying to make a serious drama in the middle of this totally stupid rabbit comedy.
Mm-hmm. If you're making movies like this, like Easter Bloody Easter, for instance, you should fully commit to the silliness.
Yeah.
They threw this in, and I thought it brought it down. Well, we both agree there. It brought it down.
The family drama only made it hit and miss, and we both felt that they should have consistently gone with the horror silliness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is good, but because of that, we don't rate it great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I don't know, I'm not going to say a Hallmark drama or something. The guy comes back to town
level.
and he's got family issues.
The outline of the script is kind of the same, though.
It is, yeah. Okay.
He comes back to a small town, and then they fall in romance again. And
what happens?
Well, way out in outer space, an alien ship arrives at Earth. The aliens inside, Brian and Ernest, are there for our women. The human DNA is compatible with theirs, so mating will be bearable. They comment on how, these are these green, lizardy-looking aliens, and, those women are so hideous, but I suppose we can make this work. And they have to save their race by reproducing, because they're starting to go extinct. Launch the penetration units, Ernest orders. There's lots of jokes like that in this. Becca and her boyfriend Mark are out camping with other people, and she sees lights in the sky. Looks like a bunch of meteors coming down or something. Except it's probes that come down and land next to some rabbits. Becca sees a cute rabbit that grows tentacles and pulls her into the woods. Mark has a run-in as well, and credits roll. Well, Brian explains to Ernest that he's infiltrated a being well known for being able to procreate, like there's no tomorrow. So they've merged these.
They will expand their influence.
These probes have altered rabbits. Yeah. Well, the police arrive to investigate Becca and Mark's death. The policemen argue about whether it was a murder or an animal attack or just some drunk who died of exposure. The chief refuses to cancel the summer ball. Well, that never happens in these kind of movies. Yeah, because that's the kind of movie it's going to be. Don't want to lose those tourism dollars. The land developer, Richard, threatens Farmer Bert to take over his farm. Bert's son, Mel, has just come home to deliver a letter from his dead mother. A little bit. And also to run Richard off. When Rose spots Mel, she's surprised. She's engaged to Charles now, who doesn't like Mel. So there's drama between Mike and Alexis and Phyllis. And apparently he's sleeping with both of them. So there's multiple lines of romance stories here. And yeah, it was the weakest part of the movie. Yeah. Ernest has Brian set up a communication blackout for the infiltration units. A man in the woods spots a cute little bunny who cuts his throat. Yes, the infiltration units are spreading widely in the area. Meanwhile, Mel and Rose talk about love, loss, and drama. It's all very serious. Barry goes to see Mystic Mary, and she comments on the rabbit's foot that he's wearing. She has him do a tarot card thing, and she doesn't like what she sees. She tells him to avoid something small out in the woods that's out of this world. And, she's trying to give him a warning. I like that scene. Somehow he interprets this into being, there's treasure out in the woods, and I need to go find it. She's like, no. So he and his friends go out in the woods. Well, meanwhile in the woods, a couple of hikers are eaten by another rabbit. PC James goes to investigate one of the deaths. Still on the ship, Brian wakes up a bunch of sleeping women they've captured for test specimens. And that took us a minute. The women are actually on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still up in space he's doing remotely. He remotely activated their penetration units. That never gets old. Well, Charles and Alexis run over a rabbit on the road. Another rabbit shows up on the screen. And this one's not nearly as cute as they expect. Harry Barry, the guy with the tarot reading, he finds some golden balls out in the woods. It's his treasure. He's found his balls. And the rabbits come a-running, though. It goes badly for Barry after that, and his two friends witness the rabbit attack. Well, back in town, the spring celebration has started, and everyone dances. Randy Rockoff is playing. P.C. James runs into Barry's friends, who tells him about what they saw. And Charles walks up. He's seen the rabbits, too. Meanwhile, more sex-crazed young people die. A whole bunch of rabbits approach the group. We're gonna get buried. Yeah, I see what they did there. Well, they soon figure out that the rabbits explode when urinated upon.
What?
Yeah, really. Urine,
What?
Urine is the secret weapon.
There's this crazy guy who lives in a mobile home out on the edge of town, and he carries buckets of urine that he saves, you know.
He has saved his urine.
Like the aviator.
Collected it. Yeah. Well, rabbits have infiltrated the big spring party, and mayhem ensues. The aliens do an EMP, which takes out all the cars, phones, and everything stops working. P.C. Hitchens comes to the deserted party, finds out what's happened. They all get ready for battle. Phyllis wakes up in a barn with the other alien abducted women. She gets out and heads out through the woods, and she beats off a herd of rabbits with a stick. The old professor tells Mel that this must be a new species of rabbits. Phyllis finds them, tells them about the kidnapped girls, and they come to the conclusion that they're dealing with aliens, and they start getting really organized. They fill water guns and pump sprayers with urine.
Ew.
Ready for battle. On the ship, Ernest and Brian get ready for war. The rabbits attack en masse, but they are easily defeated, with only a few human losses. The humans know where the captives are and make plans to storm the barn. Ernest complains about the humans' use of weapons of piss destruction.
Mass destruction.
Mass destruction, yeah. Okay. And they all defend all the units, defend the birthing chamber. Well, Mel and Bert get into the birthing chamber. Mel and Rose get out, but Bert decides to stay with Alexis and die together. He's mortally wounded, and she's been impregnated. All the bunnies move into the barn to stop Bert, who has explosives. He detonates the whole barn, killing all the murder bunnies. "We're screwed, Brian," roars Ernest. And the aliens leave orbit, giving up, returning home as failures. Mel and Rose end up together. Charles and Hitchens end up together. Even Charles and Mel make up. The professor tries to explain the urine thing, but that just starts another round of jokes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's something.
Now, all these people who supposedly grew up together in this small little country town, they all have different accents.
They do. Yeah.
One guy is Scottish, one's Middle Eastern, Rose is French, except they all grew up in the same small town.
Mm-hmm.
One of the characters even makes fun of Mel's accent at one point, so it's not like we're not supposed to notice.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Why the accents?
Well, the Scottish guy
so
in
inconsistent.
England makes sense. I mean, they people travel around there, but French?
And yeah.
Why would she have a French accent growing up in a small English town?
She grew up there. Yeah.
Yeah. These people have not
It's
spent
not like she
time
grew
out
up
of
in
town
France.
either.
Yeah, she didn't grow up in France and, travel there or anything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only part of the film I didn't believe.
Other than that, yeah, everything made sense.
Well, the serious melodrama with Mel's return and his reunification with Rose are very dramatic and serious. Far too serious to be in the same film as Brian and Ernest and the Killer Bunnies. Every time they're on the screen, the momentum just grinds to a halt. The bunnies and the aliens are funny, but damn, those humans are dull.
Mostly, yeah.
The drama subsides after the first 45 minutes, but it's kind of too late to save the film at that point. The animations are cheesy, but hilarious. They're very bad animation, but it's all right.
They do the job.
The deaths are cheesier, but hilarious. If only it weren't for the interpersonal drama parts, this would be great. But overall, it's kind of mediocre.
Kinda, yeah. It really brought it down.
Short film this week, Velma from 2024.
Which was one we liked a lot.
Written and directed by Scarlett Moreno. Stars, Scarlett Moreno.
Yeah, it's a kind of a one-woman show.
14 minutes long, and I think this one's still going around the theater, the festival circuit, so keep an eye on it.
They sent us a special viewing.
Yeah.
It's not available.
Don't have a link for you
public
on that
consumption yet, but do try to keep an eye out for it and keep an eye out for her work.
Yeah. Well, we open on Velma making a diary entry about her compulsions. She makes her date a very fancy dinner at her place, and they dance afterwards. Then she says she just can't help herself. I tell myself tonight will be different. It won't end the same way. The next date is the same, but with a different story, but with a different guy. What exactly is it that makes all her dates not come back for a second try?
All is explained.
Why doesn't she get any second dates? Well, I'm not sure if that dinner that she serves is supposed to be delicious or disgusting. It's kind of both at once.
It's like 70s food. You know, you see pictures of 70s food that's
Jell-O
strange
molds.
Combinations. Yeah, Jell-O molds and, like pineapple and hot dogs. And, it looks beautifully arranged and beautifully gourmet.
Great presentation.
And yet a lot of it is weird combinations and questionable. It looks beautiful. And the decor of the house and the wardrobes is all very 70s, very ultra, saturated colors and bright colors and knickknacks and stuff everywhere. And it's really cool to look at.
Went to a lot of trouble getting this place decorated.
Yeah, how they're dressed and look and made up and everything.
Yeah, the film is very colorful, bright, and has a great soundtrack. And you know from the beginning that something weird is going to happen, but we don't know exactly what until the end. It's very well done.
Yeah, highly recommend this one.
This is the Moon River one, isn't it? This is Moon River, isn't it?
Moon River, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I had that song going in my head for about a week afterwards. All right, well, what's next?
Beaster Day. Here Comes Peter Cottonhell.
Cottonhell.
Cottonhell, not Cottontail. Yeah, from 2014.
Written and directed by Spencer Snigg and Zachary Snigg. And it comes on and says directed by the Snigg brothers.
Snigg brothers, yeah.
Stars John Arthur, Peter Sullivan, Valerie Bittner, and Marisol Custodio. Hour and 23 minutes.
There's a trailer in the show notes for this one.
Yeah.
On YouTube, available. Well, this one, spoiler-free, we're going to put this in the category of it was so bad it was entertaining. Bad in a good way. There is a story and gore effects and a gigantic monster bunny that is an abomination. But they were having fun with it, which made it a fun watch. So overall, we approve.
Yeah, this is another, it's very low budget, cheaply made. The actors are kind of awful, but it's all done as a comedy. It's all done, they're making fun of themselves as much as anything.
And again, that makes so much of a difference. Don't stick stuff in trying to put in serious drama in a movie like this.
Really low budget
really
indie films
improves
always seem to work better as comedies than trying to make it serious.
Yeah.
You can't afford to make it
when
serious.
It's consistent. Well, or sometimes when it's serious, it works.
Yeah.
But consistent one or the other. I think mixing them really brings down a movie.
It did that last one.
Yeah.
Well, credits roll as scary music plays over shots of Easter eggs. We cut to a wedding where a band plays. The groom's son gives a speech, and he's less than supportive.
Yeah, this is his dad getting remarried.
To a much younger woman.
Yeah, and he's not happy about it.
He storms outside, but something outside attacks him and rips him apart. And that's kind of the end of that whole story.
Yeah.
And then we don't get back to that wedding or any of those characters at all.
It was all about introducing the Peter Cottonhell.
Yeah. Elsewhere, a strangely smiling guy puts on his No Dogs shirt and then stuffs socks into his pants. And then he stuffs more socks into his pants. He's stuffing all kinds of stuff into his pants.
Trying to impress the ladies.
Yeah. Elsewhere, a man begs for bacon, but he's not allowed because of his cholesterol. The couple's daughter, Brenda, calls and says she wants to move back in and give up acting. She's had all kinds of careers, and acting is the latest one, and she's given it up. Mm-hmm. There will be no acting in this film. Somewhere else, a woman makes iced tea and goes out to her backyard, where she sees a Godzilla-sized bunny roaming around. She screams and runs into traffic, which goes badly for her. Her eyes shoot out and goes into the iced tea, which her husband then drinks.
Without noticing there's an eye floating in it.
Yeah, if you get this far, you know where this movie's headed.
Yeah, gross out and yeah.
And I'll say at this point, that giant rabbit looks more like a giant rat.
It did. It was awfully ratty looking. And it's huge. It's like that kaiju size.
Oh, yeah, it's big. It's a giant rabbit.
Which, it suddenly appears and it's not there. You're like, where does something that big hide?
Oh, stop. Oh, stop.
Okay, I can't take this seriously. I can't ask serious questions like that.
At the dog catcher staff meeting, Doug asks a bunch of stupid questions, which annoys the teacher. Hector wins Dog Catcher of the Year and a trophy. Doug comes in second place, and he's very jealous. He wanted to be Dog Catcher of the Year for like the 5th year running.
Mm-hmm.
Elsewhere, a woman finds a half-eaten carrot in her garden, and then hundreds more stretching out into the woods. She follows the carrot path until the giant rabbit rips her top off, and then she bounces and jiggles through the woods to escape until the rabbit bites her head off.
And just totally making fun of the trope, and
yes,
much
bouncing and jiggling.
A topless gal in horror movies, being chased by the killer, and this was just so obviously.
Brenda's back in town, and she won't let her father eat bacon either. She wants money to be an artist, but he says she's got to get a job.
A job? What?
She goes to the dog catching place, named Dog Catchers in the Rye, who hires her on the spot, which does not please her. Can you start tomorrow? Oh, damn it. Doug and Hector make a bet about who can catch the most. Doug takes his job very seriously, but Hector would rather work at Applebee's. After more rabbit mayhem, we cut to the mayor, who isn't very good at his job.
But he's very funny at it.
He's something.
Uh-huh.
The mayor that won't cancel the weekend's festivities because of the tourist money. Well, he's taking it up a notch.
Yeah.
He's got more sponsors for the Easter Day celebrations. Lots of sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
Doug shows Brenda the life or death drama that is dog catching. He talks about having PTSD from dog catching. He's afraid of loud noises, and she makes him cry. A rock climber encounters the giant rabbit, and she too is eaten. The sheriff tells the mayor about it. Even the Amish are dying. But do Amish even vote? He doesn't care.
No.
The mayor starts blaming the murders on the Amish because they're evil people. He doesn't know what the giant bloody egg out in the woods is for, so he calls it an Easter decoration.
And he's very drug-addled, too. I think the character spends the entire movie high.
Yeah, man, he's the mayor, dude.
Yeah.
Dog catcher Roger gets a call. There's a squirrel on the loose. He runs into the giant rabbit, which chases him and kicks him into the goal. Rabbit wins.
Rabbit, yay.
The dog catcher thinks Roger was killed by a pack of wild dogs, or maybe it was a revolt of squirrels. Have you ever read Animal Farm? Doug wants payback. Hector and Brenda laugh at Doug. Brenda wears earbuds so she doesn't hear the monster right behind her, even when it belches up someone's foot. The mayor gets a couple of city workers to move the big bloody egg. They don't actually ever move that egg because the mayor decides to sell a line of tools that will help against wild animal problems, somehow.
Uh-huh.
Hector faces off against the giant rabbit, and he ends up getting impaled by his Dog Catcher of the Year trophy. Saw that coming.
Yeah.
Now Doug is serious about catching the wolves, squirrels, power tools, Amish, or whatever it is out there killing people. It's probably the Amish.
Probably.
He soon catches the giant bunny eating the mailman. He runs back to the base and tells the others what he saw, and they all laugh at him. Doug runs down the street screaming for people to listen. He finds a street preacher with a bunch of people in the audience. He manages to talk them into dispersing. The bunny blitzkrieg is upon us, the street preacher finally hits him with a baseball bat. Okay. The mayor tells the press that Doug was behind all the killings, and he refuses to cancel the big Easter event tomorrow, which is what all mayors say.
That's what they do.
It's Easter, and the whole town turns up for the big event. Doug, in a straitjacket, screams out the window that they're all gonna die. The monster shows up, and Brenda sees the thing first. It's a giant rabbit! The mayor is the first to die, but not the last.
Good riddance there.
Brenda runs home and gets into an argument with her parents. She does take one of Dad's guns to go rabbit hunting. She lets Doug out of jail, and she dresses Doug up like a big carrot, but he's been sedated and doesn't argue much. Brenda shoots the rabbit several times, and it goes down. And they wonder how that rabbit got so big. And then there's still that giant egg in the woods.
Uh-oh. Could there be a sequel?
I hope not. Oh. Okay, well, some of the gore effects are pretty good, but they're very hit and miss. The one where the eyeballs pop out is just ridiculous. The giant rabbit is really a sight to behold. It's the worst animation I've seen since Gumby was canceled. Sometimes it looked like a marionette, sometimes it looked like stop motion, sometimes it looked like a puppet. Mm-hmm. But none of them really look good.
It was huge, though. Huge and scary.
Yeah, Yeah, I was terrified throughout. The acting is terrible, but the whole thing is obviously intentionally awful, so it got quite a few laughs from us. No one is going to take this one seriously, and that's the biggest plus. It's quite a spectacle.
And we would recommend it.
I would. It's awful, but it's a good awful.
It's a good awful. Yeah.
1972, Night of the Lepus. Directed by William F. Claxton, written by Don Holliday, Gene R. Kearney, and Russell Braden, stars Stuart Whitman, Janet Leigh, Rory Calhoun, and DeForest Kelley. It's Dr. McCoy's only horror film.
Oh.
And this was also his very last non-Star Trek film.
Okay.
Hour and 28 minutes, trailer in the show notes.
He did a lot of Westerns before this.
Oh, yeah.
And other things, yeah.
And maybe Star Trek once or twice.
Yeah.
Now, before we say anything about this movie, go watch that trailer.
Yeah.
And tell us what it's about.
They kind of hid the fact that it's rabbits.
It's a full, minute and a half trailer, and it's all very creepy and very scary.
Very creepy. There's monsters coming for these people and killing them off.
They absolutely hide what the monster is.
They do, because they were afraid that people wouldn't take it seriously.
What's a lepus, anyway? I don't know. It sounds terrifying.
I don't know, but it sounds horrifying. And look at that preview. It's so scary and so tense. And it is. I mean, they take it seriously, and the rabbits are monstrous. They're genetically
This is not altered. A comedy.
It's not a comedy at all. No, they take it as seriously horror movie. The giants are, they're giant and carnivorous, and there's a lot of them. So it is a monster, but it's rabbits. And they're cute.
It's a legitimate horror movie. The problem is they have filmed actual rabbits with miniature sets.
Yeah,
they're not the least bit scary looking.
Yeah, it's hard to take it seriously, but they're working hard at it.
Yeah. Spoiler free. Despite the monsters being supercharged and supersized rabbits, this manages to be a serious and decent horror movie. They don't play it for fun or laughs. The effects were not super effective, but they tell the story. We've certainly seen worse, and this was pretty entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was probably one of those MSTK 3000 things at some point.
Yeah, it would be easy to make fun of.
It's not terrible, though.
It isn't.
Rabbits are dumb. I mean, it's a dumb thing to do, giant rabbits.
The premise is kind of dumb. But
it's well done.
Yeah, it's okay.
What happens?
Well, we are told by a newscaster about the population explosion. Will there be enough room to live in? And this is 1972, when that was more of a concern, I guess. He talks about nature's changing patterns. He shows a video about an Australian plague of rabbits and the rabbit war. And that was kind of
I assume that's a true story.
That was, yeah. Rabbits started getting out of control population. I guess they still have trouble, but not as much as they used to. The same thing is happening right now in Arizona. The rabbits' demand for food is increasing, and credits roll. So we're in Arizona. Cole Hillman rides a horse that steps into a rabbit den and breaks a leg. The man wastes no time in shooting the horse, and he doesn't even seem very shook up about it.
He's riding along, the horse falls down, he looks at the horse for about 3 seconds, pulls out his gun and kills the horse, then walks back to home.
Yeah.
Okay, well, another day. It must be Tuesday. Killed another horse.
Yeah. Except, I don't know. I mean, I've never been in that situation, but horses are expensive. And
horses are expensive, and they're usually kind of like pets. You get used to them.
And can you just tell by, looking at a horse for 3 seconds that its leg is so broken it can't be mended? Because there is such a thing as letting a horse heal.
I don't know. In 72, maybe not.
Well, that was a trope in the Old West. You're out in the middle of nowhere, and your horse breaks its leg. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, they have trucks and stuff to go pick up the horse.
They had trucks and veterinarians and all kinds of things in 1972. But anyway,
there's holes in his field, and that's what you're supposed to be getting out of this.
Yes, yeah. So he walks back, notices there is a lot of rabbit holes. He calls Elgin Clark, the college president, who wants to send a couple of insect specialists, Roy and Jerry Bennett, who know how to deal with vermin. Well, we cut to the Bennetts, who are catching bats in a cave with their daughter Amanda.
And Amanda's like 3 or 4 years old in this cave full of bats. Yeah, that's great parenting.
Yeah. Well, he wants to use the bats to kill mosquitoes. Elgin drives up and tells him about Cole's rabbit explosion. Cole wants to avoid poison, but if they get to the other ranchers, there'll be cyanide all over the state.
Cole is very the guy with the horse is very environmentally minded. He doesn't want to put down poison because that's bad for the environment. Mm-hmm. But if these rabbits start getting off his land into the neighbors' lands, there's going to be poison everywhere.
Yeah. But the poison is the problem with that is it's indiscriminate. It kills the birds, the insects, everything, and causes more trouble than the rabbits. Well, Roy suggests trying hormones so they can't breed anymore. He's all sciencey, he and his wife. Cole shows the Bennetts his rabbits, and they take a couple samples. One of them bites Cole, so they aren't nice rabbits already, but they aren't anything special.
I thought that bite was going to go somewhere, but it didn't.
No, it's just and rabbits will bite if you tick them off enough. I know this from experience. I got bitten by a rabbit once, but it's just a nip. They do have sharp teeth. Little Amanda loves the cute little bunnies. Well, Cole injects one of Amanda's favorite rabbits with some kind of substance that will affect the rabbit's DNA. It won't take long to affect the entire population. Amanda switches her friend, the injected rabbit, with one of the others so she can keep it as a pet. Cole's son Jackie hates rabbits and makes her release it back into the field.
Which makes it look like the whole thing is the kid's fault. But the scientist's plan was to release this rabbit into the wild anyway.
Yeah.
And then the kid accidentally releases it into the wild, so that whole little business there really doesn't matter.
No, not a lot, because it would have happened anyway. Roy and Jerry ride with Cole to inspect the land and find a weird, large paw print in the bud. What kind of animal could that be?
Jackalope.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, Amanda and Jackie go to visit his friend Captain Billy, and they find Billy dead. And there's a giant rabbit in the mine. Jackie doesn't see it, but Amanda goes into shock at the sight. Poor little traumatized girl. That night, a truck encounters a herd of giant rabbits and quickly eats the driver. The police find what's left of his body in the truck in the morning, and then they get a call about Captain Billy, who died the same way. The doctor who investigates says they were animal attacks. He jokes that they might have been a saber-toothed tiger, and then a whole family is killed. So it's got a pretty decent body count. Elgin brings in an expert who thinks these are giant rabbits.
What?
Yeah.
That can't happen.
Well, that matches with what Amanda saw, but Roy is still not convinced. The scientists all converge on the entrances to the old mine. They set off explosives, or they set explosives. They don't detonate them yet. But Roy wants to go inside and try to capture one alive.
And the two guys go in with a flashlight, no guns, no ropes, no nets, no nothing.
Well, the one guy does have a gun. But then once he gets in there, he says, "Oh, I can't fire this. It'll bring down the whole walls and everything." Because it's
what are they planning on capturing the rabbit with?
I don't know.
It's bigger than either of them. They've seen them at this point.
Yeah, just grab it and hope for the best. And my thought too was the thing to do would be to go into the mine before you set explosives. I mean, granted, they're probably not going to go off accidentally or prematurely, but I'd be squeamish about that. Well, they do soon find the rabbits, and they're as big as wolves. They take pictures, but then they get lost on the way out. Meanwhile, a rabbit comes into camp and attacks Jerry's helper, but she drives it away with her shotgun. The men finally make it out of the cave, and they detonate all the explosives.
Never see those rabbits again.
Problem solved.
Because rabbits can't dig.
Right. Well, Roy wants to make the whole thing public, but Elgin says he wants to go back in the morning to make sure the rabbits are all dead first. Well, spoiler, the rabbits are not dead. They are just mad now because they had their home destroyed. They're not happy at all about it. Back at the ranch, something has the horses spooked, and they all run away. The rabbits pounce on the horses and quickly eat the herd. Farmhand Judd gets eaten as well, so Cole and the family decide to hide in the cellar for now.
As ridiculous as the rabbits eating their horses is, the scene is edited in such a way that it kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
You see the horses running down in this ravine, and the rabbits are up above looking all creepy. And then the rabbits jump, and then you see rabbits eating meat. And it's just all a trick of editing, but it's pretty well done.
Yeah, yeah. They use their tricks, yeah. Homeless now, the rabbits run into town, killing people left and right. Roy, Elgin, and the sheriff use a helicopter to find the animals. Meanwhile, Jerry and Amanda drive to a campground, but the truck gets stuck. Jerry holds them at bay using roadside flares. The sheriff calls in the National Guard for help. Roy comes up with a crazy plan to electrocute the rabbits using the railroad tracks just outside of town. They're going to electrify them.
That's dumb.
Well, a little bit. They use a bunch of cars and a train to fence in the rabbits as they wire up the tracks. The rabbits get electrocuted, shot, or both. And a few months later, Cole visits Roy and says things are all fine now, and we do see a few normal-looking rabbits on the farm.
Every last one got killed.
Yep, never see them again.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, it's very cheaply made with red-smeared bunnies filmed over miniature sets, except for the man in the bunny suit.
Yeah.
Whenever a rabbit actually attacked somebody, it was a guy in a suit.
It was a quick enough glance, but you could think, was that a guy in a bunny suit? Yeah, it was.
This is another one of those legendarily bad films that really isn't so terrible today. Back in the days when films were difficult and expensive to make, movies like this were considered turkeys. In today's low-budget environment, it's not really so bad compared to a lot of other low-budget films. Pick any random movie on Tubi, this is probably better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. Nowadays, anybody can make a movie, and a lot of people do.
The bar has lowered.
Yeah.
The idea of giant killer rabbits is just silly, but it's no worse than 1,000 giant other killer blank films.
It's eco-terror.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's been other creatures. There's been frogs. I remember frogs when I saw when I was a kid. Same kind of thing, and it's silly, like frogs.
What was the one on the island? They weren't ferrets.
Weasels or what they?
What was it? Shrews. Killer shrews.
Killer
yes.
shrews. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Eco-terror. Yeah. You can take anything and make it a killer.
All right, well, that's it for this week here with us, guys. If you check out horrorbulletin.com for our free weekly newsletter, you can read about 1943's The Leopard Man, which is a lot less exciting than it might sound.
It was kind of good, though, I thought. And to its credit, it's only an hour and 6 minutes. So
I do like the short ones.
Yeah, it gets right to the point, but it's kind of a mystery, kind of. Very noir-y kind of almost. Okay. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
And also 1956's Forbidden Planet, the best science fiction movie ever made until Star Wars came along.
Yeah, I think so.
And it still holds up fairly well today.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, it would it just looks so dated.
It definitely. Oh, it's retro.
It's retro cool because they put so much money and effort into making it. And made it right, that it hasn't, you wouldn't say it's held up, but it's so cool.
It's retro-futurism before it was retro. This is what they actually thought it was going to look like.
Yeah, and there's actually brutal fatalities and a big body count, but it's rated G. All that's off screen, it's implied and mentioned. But
was it rated G?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
People do get thrown around.
At the time, I don't know if it was. Okay, that I'm not sure of. It is now.
I don't even know if they had ratings.
Did they have
ratings? They did.
Had
yeah,
ratings.
they did.
Yeah, they did. It doesn't say on the poster. I bet it was rated G. Maybe PG, because it's that monster's kind of scary. Forbidden.
Well, anyway, that's it for this week. He's going to look that up while I tell you about Boris Karloff, the biography again, over at hourlongbooks.com.
Rated G.
No, that's not right. I said Hourlong Books. It's hourlongpress.com.
Hourlong Press.
I don't know if there is an Hourlong Books, but it's not us. It was rated G.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it is now. Possibly it was higher then, but yeah.
I don't know. Do ratings change over the years?
They do. Yeah, they do sometimes get toned down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
what was shocking in 1950 is pretty tame today.
Well, yeah.
A lot of times,
they might have modern ratings on like a DVD or a Blu-ray case or something, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for this week. Stop in next week where we will have 4 more movies and a short.
More movies.
More.
All right.
And it won't be about bunnies next time.
Okay.
We'll do some legit horror, probably.
Okay.
Maybe an illegit horror. I don't know. We'll see what comes up. I'm Brian.
And I'm Kevin.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.